deck is locked. It's locked and loaded, ready to get fired out there.
We do have an order score on table 7. We've got Nino sitting in seat 2 with a pair of jacks.
All right, cards are in the air.
One fall.
That's Nicholas Dixon from Australia. He's letting it go. Matthew Wakeman. 250K in cashes for Matthew Wakeman. In the 3-seat, Haoran Zhang. Gonna let it go. Oh, I recognize that guy. Fedor Holtz, 20 million in live cashes. He won about $10 million last year alone. He's going to raise it up here at the ace-3 offsuit. Scott gets out of the way here. This is Scott's first cash in Australia.
Call.
And Tobias Howson going to defend his big blind. We saw him start today with Jennifer Tilly at this featured table. He's going to defend here with that 9-7 offsuit, and we are off to a flop. Neither player makes a pair here. You can see Fedor's been growing a beard in his retirement.
No
Action is on him here. Will he check or bet? Looks like he's decided to bet.
Bet 42,000.
And Tobias is going to fold. And German on German action. This one goes to Fedor.
Thank you.
Seems only appropriate that one of the greatest, I mean, even though he's very young, one of the greatest of all time, I think it's fair to say nobody has really accomplished what Fedor has accomplished in his last few years. 20 million in cashes. He's still so young. Seems appropriate that he'll drag that first pot after the break. I hear an all-in a call at one of the outer tables. So average stack right now is only 45 big blinds.
C2 fall.
Action's on Zhang here with Jack 10 offsuit.
C3 raise 42,000.
Looks like Zhang's going to receive no action, and he's going to win that pot. So it's important to point out here, there are several players at this featured table below average. Average stack is 900,000. I'm pretty sure only Scott is above average, if I'm not mistaken. Action is going to be here on Nicholas Dixon, I believe. First act. International event here at the Aussie Millions. At this featured table, we have 2 players from Australia, 2 players from Germany, 1 from the United States, and 1 from China. We're actually on our Chinese player right now. Haoran Zhang with pocket 4s and about 35 big blinds.
Raise 42,000. C3 raise 42,000.
And he is going to play Queen 8 suited by our one of our bigger stacks. Tobias lets it go. Kid Poker Brat Jennifer Tilly is eliminated. She busted out in around 26th position, 28th position. All right, next hand here underway. Button on Nicholas Dixon. Fedor Holtz, first to act under the gun. 24 players
20
remain.
to call. Seat 4 fold. Seat 5 fold.
Action
Seat
on
6
Tobias.
fold.
He's going to let it go.
Seat 1
Blind versus
fold.
blind action here.
All in. Seat 2
All in here from Wakeman for his last 9.5 big blinds. And that's going to get through the 7-3 here.
More cushions.
He shows it.
Fold.
Can't win. Side pot is hyped for tomorrow's 100K challenge. That is going to be an awesome final table. Fedor made that final table, so we'll see more of Fedor tomorrow.
Thank you.
Next hand underway, Fedor in the big blind. Scott Eskenazi first to act. His first cash in Australia here, looking good for a deep run.
20 to call.
Action here on Tobias.
Seat 6 fold.
He doesn't play his ace.
1 fold.
Over to Wakeman. He just shoved blind versus blind. Is Queen 9 going to be good enough for him here on the button?
Seat
Yes,
2
it
all
is.
in.
11 big blind shove. Zhang without a playable hand. Will Fedor wake up with something in the big blind? Yes, it's hazy. Tomorrow's the 100K buy-in final table. And Queen 9 is going to get through here. Picking up a much-needed pot for Wakeman.
Seat 5 fold as well.
And that hand goes over to Wakeman. Fedor moves into the small blind. Button over to Zhang. Tobias will be first to act.
To call.
Tobias here decides to get a little feisty with
Seat
ace
6
8
raise
offsuit in the
45.
first position.
45,000.
If you're just joining us, this was a $10,000 buy-in.
Seat 2 fold.
725
Seat
contestants
3
started
fold.
this tourney. Down to the final 24.
Seat 4 fold. Seat 5 fold.
Ooh, what? Just a raise and a fold? If the graphics were correct, Scott just folded King Queen in the big blind to the first position raise.
3,000.
That seems a little tight given that you closed the action for one blind more. Next hand almost underway. I see those RU nits in chat. I mean, that's a pretty nitty fold. Closing the action with king queen in the big blind to just fold. If the graphics are correct, which you never know for sure, 100%, that seems pretty tight.
C2 fold. C3 fold.
Action over to Fedor on the button with 10-9 of hearts. Certainly good enough for him to play, or you would think.
C4 raise 45,000.
Action on Scott in the small blind with ace-2 suited.
C5
He's going to let that one go. And now Tobias. You can see this is actually only about 50-50, given that the ace is dead. Now Tobias is... I do not think Tobias is going to fold here. I think Tobias is either going to shove or call. Most likely call. There's a chance he might just say, I got an ace. Fedor is pretty great. I'm just all in.
All in.
Looks
C6.
like Tobias agrees with me.
C4
Now Fedor has a
fold.
hand he likes, but not a hand he can call his life off here with. And Tobias is going to pick up that pot. Nice shove there from him.
Player just wants to go your way.
I wish. Probably from this way.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. When you're going back to Sydney?
After the series. Once the series is done.
Are you going to play the last one?
Yeah, I'll stay. I think I'm here till like at least. I don't know what the date is today. Is it 26th? I don't even know.
Oh yeah, it's like
Me neither, buddy. Oh, is today Chinese New Year?
20 to call. C2 fold.
The things we learn in this international world of...
C3 fold.
Not sure what Fedor just said. I'm pretty sure it was German. Oh, wow. I think he might have said something like big hand or something like that before looking and has aces. That's pretty powerful when you can say, I'm going to get a big hand, and then you get aces.
C4
a
raise
moment later.
40,000. C5 fold. C6 fold. C1 fold.
Meinst du am Anfang einmal nebeneinander, oder was? Und danach ist egal? Einmal nebeneinander und dann ist egal?
Fedor going to win that pot with aces uncontested. Wise timing for everybody else to just run.
So you're still going back to Korea recently?
Sorry?
You're still going back to Korea?
Oh no.
Not really.
No. I've been like 3 times.
Oh, right. Yeah. So your whole family is here now? Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, right, yeah.
But I've been back a couple of times. I mean, I love Seoul. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's Matthew Wakeman on the right side with about $250,000 of live cashes. He already cashed for about $3,000 in an earlier event at this year's Aussie Millions. As far as our research can tell, this is Nicholas Dixon's first live cash in a tournament.
C3 raise 42,000.
We got a raise here by Zhang with that ace-7 suited. And now Fedor with queen-10 of spades. He's got 3 options here. He could fold, he could call, he could shove. Looks like he's going to go with calling.
C5 fold.
Fedor, I think one of the things Fedor is best at in the time that I've got to watch him is that he finds spots to do things that other players wouldn't do pre-flop. Finds hands to call with, hands to raise with, spots to bluff, check raise, or put pressure on post-flop that others would not. And although this is not too abnormal, It is definitely interesting to see him invest an eighth of his stack pre-flop here with Queen 10 suited, given that there are 4 players still to act behind him. And now will Wakeman come along with the Queen 9 off?
C2 call. You pass.
We can see Zhang is in good shape here, has about 50% chance to win against 2 opponents.
3 players.
Off to the flop we go. Fedor with position, Wakeman first to act. And no pair anywhere.
Check. Set 2 check.
It's gone check to Zhang. Fedor's like, what you doing over there? What are you gonna do? You gonna bluff? You gonna bluff me? Do you know who I am? Fedor just looking for any information at all. Looks like Zhang is loading up the gun here. And this is probably going to just work. Both players don't really have a hand they can call with. Fedor out of the way, Wakeman out of the way. Nice bet from Zhang there. And he's going to pick up a decent-sized pot with ace high. We're going to adjust Zhang's microphone so we can hear all the wonderful things he has to say. Infected Pony wants to know how many we're playing down till tonight. We're playing down to the final table of 7. There are 24 players still in this contest. We started today with 36. We've lost a third of the players right now.
Yeah, I still do traveling back and forth and yeah, just try
17 players away
trying for my PRs.
to that final table.
So going to have some planning for some business going back. I did talk to Fedor about it just now. Yeah. So
What?
about business. Yeah.
Well, he is a businessman now, so.
Yeah, it is. Definitely.
22 call.
Fedor first to act under the gun here.
Seat 4 fold. Seat 5 fold. Seat
Ace 2
6
suited
red,
here for Tobias.
5,000.
He's going to
Seat
raise it
1
up.
fold. Seat 2 fold.
Action over to Zhang in the big blind. Will he defend here with King 7 offsuit? I feel like most players would against a small raise.
Seat 3 fold as well.
Sandy, anyone want a drink? Confidence.
Can I grab a soy latte, 1 sugar?
Eigentlich noch zu früh zum Trinken. Aber es hat Glück gebracht die letzten Tage.
Hat auch ohne
Can I
ganz
grab
gut
a soy
geklappt.
latte, 1 sugar?
Was schmeckt so gut?
Let's grab a
Soy
sparkling water
lattes
if I could,
for
thank you.
everybody.
You like soy latte?
No, it's just fine as is, thank you.
A bottle of water, please.
2 soy latte. The same. Yeah.
No, nothing, thanks. We have a latte with full fake sugar.
Pure blonde?
Fake sugar.
I like this little moment as every player gets a drink.
ordered.
All right, action on Eskenazi here.
20 to call.
This Aussie Millions brought to you by Soy Lattes. That's right, delicious soy lattes they crown. They're notorious for their amazing soy lattes. It's a true story.
45,000.
Scott's going to raise it up here with ace 10 offsuit. Action on Wakeman here on the button. He's going to shove it in with his last 10 big blinds with 2 6s here. And I suspect that Scott, who has been a little snug, is still going to have to call here. He has to call 150,000 to win 300,000. He's getting almost exactly 2 to 1.
Can I get a count, please?
And Scott does have the chips to call here. Not that he's thrilled about it.
He's slightly over 2.
But I mean, if you're going to raise ace-10 offsuit and get shoved on by the 10 big blind stack, you got to know what you're going to do before you enter the pot, in my opinion.
100.
202.
And of course, you never love it with ace-10 offsuit here. You are dominated fairly often and dominating fairly rarely. But if you raise fold in a spot like this, when you're 55% to win,
2,000.
getting 2-1, folding as a favorite is, you know, a mild tragedy in gambling terms. Can Scott make the right call here? And Wakeman knows with his pair of sixes, he probably wants to fold. At this point, Scott would have already called if he had sevens or better. Unless Scott has exactly fives or fours, threes or deuces, he wants Scott to fold. He doesn't want to race here. He wants to pick up this dead money, take out this 100K with no showdown. And we've seen Scott make some tighter folds already today. And not for nothing, this is like a fifth of his stack if he calls and loses. I think the decision here should have been made before you raise. Before you get in here with ace-10 off, I think you got to know what you're going to do.
3, 5, call.
Does let it go. Nice pickup there for Matthew Wakeman.
That's twice I've been at your table now, Fader. I've got a free drink. Twice I've got a free drink at your table now.
Twice what?
Twice I've got a free drink when I've been at the table with you. It's like,
Man, it's you.
I just got word from one of the outer tables that we lost Nick Georgiolis.
Fans want to see more of
Georgiolis.
MJW.
He was eliminated a few minutes ago. Lost deuces against jacks. So we are down to the final 23.
$20 to call.
Jim C0722 does point out that it's not an awful fold. It's obviously bad when we can see the cards. Of course, it's very easy from our position to say, that's so bad. But it really is not incredibly bad fold by any means. He is often dominated. Looks like we got another all-in. Jacks versus queens this time.
Flop is 9, 10,
All in.
Jack, great
C2 all in.
Center Jack's for William, up and down.
C3 call.
Looks like Jacks has made a set of jacks.
Third card is the 8 of hearts.
288.
Makes it straight.
I think it's,
William's
yeah.
still with a set of Jacks.
At our table here, Wakeman shoves the cutoff with ace-7. And it looks like Fedor is thinking about it here with ace-10.
It's like 290.
8.
Okay, so we just lost our 23rd place finisher.
Yeah. 280.
Jacks against queens. Queens held up, made a straight on the turn. And now what will Fedor do? Matt Wakeman chips it in with ace-7 suited. And Fedor has the best hand, but this is for Fedor's entire stack, basically. We just saw a player fold ace-10 as a flip. Fedor is a 3-1 favorite here with this ace. He can't love it, though.
All in.
Oh, he's shoving. Nice shove by Fedor here.
C4 all in.
Good luck.
So much not fun, but
5 call.
All in and call on our feature table. Matt Wakeman, our player at risk with
All right, guys, we got an all-in and a call. And if you're a Fedor fan, you're rooting for the ace-10 to hold here.
Gefühl, Fedor? Gefühl?
22 players remaining.
close.
Fedor's got to fade some clubs and 10s. Oh, 7s rather.
Always this
Pretty good flop here for Matt Wakeman. A 6 is not bad for him. A 7 is great. Club and it's over. Matt Wakeman actually a favorite, but not anymore with three of spades on the turn. And Fedor is 2-1 favorite here.
River count 8 of hearts.
Okay, buddy.
Okay, man.
All right, Fedor holds up.
Easy.
Dat is wat mannen aan
And that's almost a full double up for Fedor. We are going to lose Matt Wakeman in 22nd place.
Like 330.
And after a level of no knockouts, we just lost 3 players in a heartbeat.
Cover.
Beautiful.
Agreed.
William Hockey just busted in 22nd.
Yeah, I understand that.
Matthew Wakeman just was eliminated from our table.
See you, man.
Dylan move already?
Thanks.
Here's some information about Fedor Holtz. Currently at 9th on the all-time money list.
My button.
He has 5 $1 million cashes in the space of 12 months. That's pretty great. And then last year in the Aussie Millions, he got 2nd place in the 100K challenge. No big deal.
Die Munition mijn buttons zo erhöhen.
He never got his soy latte. Feels bad, man. That's the ultimate.
I understood button, right?
But hey, more soy lattes for everybody else.
To race again.
You start to pick up German, huh?
Yeah, I'm picking it up.
Yeah, these all-ins are a lot easier as a recreational.
All those players are going to receive $60,000. Not bad for 4 days of work.
Less sweating.
20 to call. Seat 1 foul.
We are down to the final 21 contestants playing down to the final 7 tonight. Only 14 away from that final table. The payout jump is at 18. We are live Track Lizard on a 30-minute delay. Chip denominations, the light blue or teal chips are 1K. Yellow chips are 5,000. Those darker blue chips are 25,000. This was a $10,000 buy-in. 725 contestants began this tourney. Down to the final 21 right now. Playing 5-handed for the time being. We won't get another player till we're down to the final 18. The last 3 tables. Boombai1 wants to know, is that the correct call with ace-10 offsuit? If Fedor is going to make the call, I think you can say that is right. Righter than what I would say, dude. No, Fedor, you don't know anything, dude. No. I think we can say with pretty decent confidence that Fedor is way better than all of us in Twitch chat and me. And I think his shoves, I mean, he's playing to win, right? He's not playing to climb the ladder.
Just 21 players remain, ladies and gents.
So I'm not really sure what's up with this hand. Looks like we don't have graphics for this hand, so those get check called here by Tobias. King Jack 3-5. You done, son wants to know why they're playing 6-max. It's just how it's always been done here in Australia. At the final 36, it goes to 6-handed. It's a kind of a cool thing. As a player, I always loved tourneys that did that. Bay 101, which is coming up in a couple months, they have a similar format. It's kind of a cool, different, fun thing to do. So we don't know what either player has. Looks like the graphics are down this hand, so we're going to just have to guess. Zhang is firing twice here. King Jack 3-5 board. Tobias in the big blind. Mustafa still in the tourney. He was one of the chip leaders, last I had seen. It's like Tobias thinking about it here.
C6 fold.
He's gonna let it go.
Cue.
That hand goes over to Zhang. There's some spooky ghosts there for a second, guys, but don't worry. We're okay now. Hopefully we'll have the graphics up for you guys next hand. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream today. Appreciate all the love in chat. If you haven't pressed that follow button yet, I invite you to come hang out with us 7 days a week here on RunItUp.tv.
Wondering?
Huh?
Wondering?
What do you mean?
No, no, nothing.
2 more days of Aussie Millions action still to come.
20 to call. C3 fold.
$1.6 million up for grabs in this tourney. And Fedor is going to be playing tomorrow for $900,000 in the $100,000 buy-in challenge event. And now Fedor's got some room, and everybody else in the tournament can't be thrilled to see Fedor doubling up. He's going to raise it up here at the 6-4 clubs. Looks like Scott is considering making a move here with the ace-7 offsuit. Ooh, and this is good timing by him also.
110.
Fedor watching very intently. Now, when a player like Scott decides to make a move like this, it is very likely to work because his reputation is obviously very solid. And there you go. Scott picks up that pot.
3,000 please.
Nice hand there by Scott, taking advantage of his image and the fact that Fedor is probably playing a lot of hands now that he has a 30 big blind stack. Don't forget though, average stack is over 1 million chips. Even though Fedor doubled up, it's not like he's completely out of the danger zone.
To call. C4 fold.
Action over around to the button. Tobias Houston. He's got an ace, probably good enough for him to raise.
C6 red 45,000. C1 fold.
Looks like action is going to be on Zhang. Likely just going to fold it.
C3 fold.
And that hand goes over to Tobias. Easy raise and take it on the button with an ace.
Kennst du den Asiaten daneben mir?
Bisschen, ja.
Next hand here getting underway. Blinds are 10 and 20,000. We are playing 5-handed now, down to 21 contestants.
$2,000 to 20,000 to fold. C5 fold.
Looks like action's folded around.
C6 fold.
Howson lets it go. Now it's on to Nicholas Dixon from Australia.
1 all in.
He puts in his last 200,000 with the King 8 suited, and he has ran into a pretty big hand here in the small blind. Zhang is not likely to fold ace-jack. He's got to think ace-jack's the best hand against the button shove for 10 blinds. The graphic says 140K, but I think he has closer to 200.
143.
Nope. Sorry for doubting you. Graphics team, 143,000 on the dot. What do I know? I'm just the dork talking. So Dixon does shove for 143,000, and that makes it an even easier play with the ace jack. Now, do you just flat call or do you raise it? With Fedor behind you with 600,000, I mean, if you call and Fedor shoves, I guess you can fold. Do you just shove yourself?
Raise 300. Seat
Looks like he is going to make it 300,000. Zhang's going to be in good shape here.
Around Zhang. Nick, our player at risk with king 8 of clubs. Around with the ace of diamonds. Jack
Dixon
of
is
clubs.
our player at risk here. 42% to stay alive. This is Dixon's first cash ever in a live tourney.
Flop is 10.
That's a pretty good flop for him here. He's actually a favorite on this flop.
Turka. Here's the queen of clubs. Nick.
Yeah, for Zhang. Bink for Dixon. He's going to turn the flush. And you can see he is happy to still be in this tourney. Give him another club. Yeah, sure. And Dixon going to double up here to about 16 big blinds.
I can give you the cookies.
Yeah.
Very reasonable shove. He only has 7 big blinds.
40 and
Can't fold king 8
3,000.
suited.
3,000.
Imagine, guys, you make your first tournament cash. It's the Aussie Millions, $10,000 buy-in. Maybe he won his way in on a satellite or something. Cashes the tourney, makes a deep run. Now playing with Fedor Holtz. Final 21 players. Sounds like there's an outer table all in.
Flop is 9, 10, queen, 2 diamonds. Ace high flush draw for Jeremy. Up and down for Corey. Turka.
Up and down for Kobe.
Turka, 3 diamonds. Here's Jeremy the nuts and he will double through Corey.
Sounds like there's been a double up at the outer table. Last I heard, Mustafa Kanit has 2.4 million chips for all you Mustafa fans out there. All these players guaranteed $60,000 for their performance so far.
Still 21 players remain in our main event, ladies and gents.
Still 21 remain.
Seat 6 fall. Seat 1 fall.
Action here on Zhang on the button. He's not going to mess around with Fedor. Fedor with 9 deuce. Now, normal humans might just say, 9 deuce? Nah, we just fold. But Fedor is a little special. And he's not going to just give it up. He's going to limp here, 9 deuce. What you going to do, Scott Eskenazi? What you going to do? Ooh, now you see, I think this was a good spot for Scott to raise. Jack 10 suited, Fedor limps. Do we really want to play a post-flop hand against Fedor? To me, I think this is a great spot for us to raise, put some pressure on.
Check a bit.
Instead, Fedor makes a pair. Scott flops an up and down straight draw.
Check seat 4.
Fedor decides to check call here, I presume.
Seat 5 bet 20,000.
No way Fedor can check fold, of course. If you're going to limp 9 deuce, you're not going to check fold on a queen 5-9 board.
Call seat 4.
Fedor does check call here.
Check a bit.
Bink. Not only does Scott make the straight, but he also turns a flush draw. Not that he needed it.
Seat 5 bet 45,000.
Scott bets twice there. Now, what will Fedor do with his 9? We can tell Fedor is DED dead But does Fedor just fold here on the turn? Against a small bet, looks like he's not gonna. And whatever money he puts in this pot, he will not get back.
45,000. Two player.
Fedor calls here. Scott feeling good. Improves again on the river.
Check seat 4.
Could have been worse for Fedor, I suppose. Could have improved. He did not. And now Scott obviously going to bet here on the river. The question is how much? And I think you figure that out by thinking about what kind of hands can Fedor have. Limp call, or rather limp pre, check call, check call, check. I mean, it feels to me like Fedor has a one pair kind of a hand, so we would bet smaller.
150.
150 here from Scott. Now the heart draw did miss. King 10 missed. 6-7 got there. 8-7 would just check, probably. Fedor is thinking about it though. This would be for about a third of Fedor's stack. Those chips are precious. Can he find the fold? We got the Fedor stare down cam here. I think Scott thought Fedor was a little stronger than he actually is. And now Fedor, this is not a Hollywood. Fedor is not just wasting time here. He's legitimately thinking about hands he can beat. And there are some hands he can beat. Oh! Ooh. I saw him reach for chips and I was like, ooh, he's going to just flick it in there. But no, he's just teasing all of us. I got a little excited. I was like, wow. A rare mistake. Damn, all this chip touching is... Thinking about it, there are a few hands he beats here. Fedor must think that Scott either has a very, very strong hand or a nothing, but there's not too many nothings. King 10, King Jack, wouldn't those hands probably raise pre-flop? Heart draws? Random heart draws? Is he turning 5x into a bluff? Just a pair of fives he's now bluffing with? Fedor must think that Scott... Alright, he folds it. Good fold, Fedor. And nice hand there for Scott. He's going to pick up 100,000. And I got to say, I think of all the streets of action, I think pre-flop was the opportunity to raise there as Scott. But you know what? He won a decent pot not doing that, so nice hand by Scott. And Fedor tries out his soy latte. Life is good. Maybe that's the secret to winning $10 million in a year, guys. Fedor going to take the button this hand. Bias in the big blind.
$20 to call. Seat 1 fold.
Action on Zhang here, first to act, or I should sorry, in the cutoff here with Queen Jack suited. Fedor has sevens behind him. Has Zhang already acted, or is it on him? Looks like Zhang is going to raise here. Now, what will Fedor do with sevens?
Seat 3 raise 42,000.
I think there are only two choices: calling or shoving. I think those are the only two options Fedor has here. He has 25 big blinds at a 5-handed table. Shoving is totally reasonable. But will Fedor just call here and try to outplay his opponent using position? He is on the button. He's last to act on all subsequent streets. Fedor is checking his stack size out.
All in.
Okay, Fedor does decide to shove here, and 6 is actually behind him going to get folded. And this is going to be a big flip because I think Zhang is not going to fold here, and we're going to see Zhang versus Holes.
Seat
And
5 fold.
if Fedor can win this hand, he'll be at over a million chips. Sounds like there's another all-in and a call at one of the outer tables. Tobias is actually thinking about it here. I mean, if in some universe, if Tobias calls here, he actually might save Fedor from having to flip. Because Zhang may just fold.
Well, there's king of spades, 3 of diamonds, 5 for clubs, Arda takes top there.
Wow, I'm surprised Tobias is thinking this long with 6s.
Giving terrain, the up and down. Rudica. Rudica has a red big 5-2 there for Arda, and he will double through terrain.
Sounds like the all-in player survived. Boy, if Housen shoves here, he is gonna regret it. I mean, I suppose, unless he makes a 6. Raise, re-raise, facing 2 raises here. Will he really shove? No, he lets it go. Good fold.
6 fold.
And I think Zhang is going to find a call here with ace-queen suited. Just too strong of a hand to fold. You have a chance to knock out the best player in the tournament. He's on your immediate left. If you bust him out, you have over a million chips. You're in a great position here to dominate your table. And he's not even out if he loses. He would still have 10 big blinds left.
Around 500.
Approximately.
I think Zhang is going to find this call here. 50-50, about a true pure coin flip here. Zhang is thinking about it. Nothing wrong with thinking about it. We are playing for $1.6 million up for grabs for first.
Why so much?
Trying to talk to Fedor. Zhang may not want to put in such a big percentage of his stack here with ace-queen suited, but I mean, maybe he doesn't want to flip, but sometimes you're dominating. Sometimes
Nice hand.
Seat 3 fold.
fold from Zhang. Wow. Whoa, wow. I am literally not like this thing in real life right now. It's really happening. I am shocked that he folded there. I mean, what if Fedor had ace-jack suited or king-queen suited and you fold? I mean, yeah, it was 50-50. But 50-50 to knock out your opponent, plus you're getting a decent price, right? He's already in for the raise. So he's got to call. He's getting like 1.3 or something like that to 1.
3,000.
Dang, I thought for sure Fedor was going to call, but he does not. Wow.
Mal gespannt. Die Zeit wird mir da sagen.
I just don't want to play
Big
post
fold
flop, you
there.
know, so.
Yeah, you definitely did. You've been playing with me all day long.
20 fold.
I guess Zhang just didn't want to flip for his tournament life. He was afraid he was in worse shape than that.
Seat 4
The other
fold.
thing is, like, if Fedor had
just don't
aces,
wanna
kings,
play
or
post
queens,
flop.
would he really just shove all those hands? Like,
honest
if he's
guy.
not shoving those hands
Yeah, the best
also,
player
then
on the world.
like maybe Fedor could have ace king. That's possible.
Seat 5 red 45,000. Seat 6 fold.
Scott's gonna raise it up here. Jack
Pärchen
suited.
gezogen. Mittleres
And
Pärchen.
Scott's gonna win that pot.
Mal gespannt,
good,
was
we're good.
Meine Freunde dazu sagen.
Ich glaube, ich habe 2 bessere Hände rausgefunden.
Warrior Joe C
flippen
wants to
aber
know, do you think that maybe he thought Tobias folded an ace? There's definitely a chance that he maybe thought that some of his outs were dead when Tobias tank folds. Maybe assuming that Tobias would shove himself if
Don't
he
worry,
had
I
a
would've
hand
hit
like...
anyway.
Pardon?
I would have sucked out on you anyway, so don't worry.
Stefan sagt, ich spoilere nicht.
Pedro says would have sucked out anyway.
Hopefully I will be
That might be-
I don't think so, yeah. I mean, after 30 minutes, I'll find out. I think I made a good laydown, I guess.
What did you have?
We will see it anyways.
Yeah. Are you going to tell me now?
Now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, ace queen. I folded ace queen.
What did you have?
20 to call.
A pair. Sixes.
Okay, good. Then I had the best hand. I
Wow, he
said-
doesn't say his hand? They both say the hands. And Fedor doesn't say the hand
Seat
back.
4 red,
We can
45,000.
both do that.
Sixes?
Wow.
Come on.
Seat 5 fall.
Wow. What a deal for Fedor. He goes, okay, tell me your hands, I'll tell you my hand. They both tell him his hand, and then he doesn't say his hand.
Seat 6 call 45,000.
That's a good move right there.
Seat 1 fall.
I mean, he's right. He did have the best hands.
Seat 3 fall. 2 players.
Erstmal
Yeah,
zaubern.
Fedor's got all the moves. He's got all the moves, dude. Debated. That's right. 2 10s against ace 10 suited here, heading to the flop.
Check a bit.
And Fedor's 10s still lead. Oh, he did say he had 7s? I didn't actually hear him say that, but people in chat are telling me he did actually say he had 7s at some point. But it looked to me like Zhang like fist pumped, like he was happy to hear that Fedor had the best hand. I can't imagine he would fist pump that he accidentally folded a flip.
Check. Seat 4 check. Seat 6 check.
So
2 players.
Fedor raises under the gun,
Check a bit.
checks on the flop. He turns a flush draw here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are currently taking entries for our Aussie Millions Deep Freeze event satellite. $340 entry fee, 6K start stack, playing for your chance to win direct entry to the Aussie Millions Deep Freeze event. If you're interested in playing, head over to tournament registration now. We will be starting in less than 60
Seat 6
seconds.
check. 2 players.
So check again on the turn, and Fedor is going to pay the price for all this checking here. I have to say, I'm not quite sure why Fedor decided to check on both streets. Certainly can understand why you would check maybe flop or turn as a little like different something, you know, a different kind of line here. But checking both of the streets, I don't know. I guess he feels like he was protected a little bit by having the 10 of
Seat 4
hearts, but
check.
he's going to lose his hand now to the ace on the river. Now, will Housen bet here? After all these checks, I mean, ace 10 probably is the best hand unless Fedor has, what, ace jack or ace king exactly.
Seat 6 bet
All
45,000.
right, dealers, the Deep Freeze satellite, the button is in seat 4, shuffle up a deal, we're underway. Starting
And you can tell
line,
Fedor is not thrilled.
25.50.
Kannst du mit Ace Jack da hitten, das ist so sick. Always Ace Jack.
Seat 4 fall.
Close to ace jack, but not quite. Anyway, Fedor doesn't lose any more at least. And Housen's going to pick up that pot.
All right, dealers, the Deep Freeze satellite, the button's in seat 4, you should all be dealing, starting line 25.50.
Apparently there's a satellite. You guys going to come to Crown to play some satellites right now.
You'll start with 6K in tournament chips. Head over to tournament registration now. Already a massive field for this satellite, so get in early.
Walt Justice hits me up on Twitter and says, if you're playing to win, you got to take your shot at Fedor there. You know, I don't think it's the most insane fold to muck the ace queen there, but it's definitely a tough spot. No doubt about it. Action here on Scott Eskenazi with the ace 7 offsuit.
Seat
If you want to
5
get in touch with
fall.
us, you can use that hashtag Aussie Millions.
Seat 6 fold. Sorry. Seat
I am
1
at
fold.
Jason Somerville on Twitter. You can get in touch with us also at Crown Poker.
Seat 3 call. Option.
All right, so we got jacks here, just a limp trying to trap Fedor. It looks like he's gonna fall for it too. Fedor with 5
Seat
deuce
4
decides to
raise,
bluff here.
62,000.
Now, what will Zhang do with his pocket jacks? We can see he's dominatingly ahead right now. Will he just call, or is it time to limp raise? And if Fedor has a hand that's strong but not as strong as jacks, maybe get it all in pre-flop. I suspect Zhang is likely to re-raise pre. There's already 100,000 in the middle. Fedor only has about 450 left.
Seat 2. Sorry.
Shove and a
so
quick
nervous.
fold.
You figured? You figured I was nervous? You thought I was nervous, right?
Didn't look too nervous to me, but maybe a little. All right. Next hand underway. Zhang going to be on the button. House in first act.
Wirklich, Steffen sagt auch, ich
21
würde
players remaining.
Sorry.
Richtig, richtig schlecht dazu kommen. Beide keine Ahnung.
Ha?
Auch nicht.
Sorry.
Ehrlich.
20 to call.
Action is here on Housen. He's going to let it go. Looks like,
Fold. Seat 1 all in.
ooh, Dixon going to shove here with ace-jack offsuit, and Eskenazi in the big blind with ace-7 suited.
3 fold.
This is a shove for about 13 and a half blinds. What do we do here with ace-7 of spades? Not an easy decision. Got to call 250 or more to win 320. So not getting a fantastic price by any means.
Is that 300?
This is definitely a tough decision. Cutoff position shoves into 3 contestants. Fold, fold. You're closing the action in the big blind.
273 in total.
So 250 to win 320 here. Not getting a fantastic price, getting like 1 1/4 to 1. Is ace-7 suited good enough? Certainly Dixon would shove hands like king, queen.
Seat 5 fold.
Ooh, good fold there with ace-7 suited. Dixon picks up another pot there. We will be streaming down till the final table is set tonight. Final table of 7. Tomorrow, the $100,000 challenge final table. David Peters, Sam Trickett, Nick Petrangelo, Mike Watson, Stefan Sontheimer, Fedor Holtz at that final table. Those guys playing for $900,000.
20 to call.
So a former
Seat 1
champion.
fold.
I knew I missed somebody. Former champion. David Stike at that final table as well, who won that tournament back in 2009, if I'm not mistaken.
Seat 3 fold.
Twitch Apple wants to know, what did the players do to get here? Well, 725 contestants began this tournament. They all paid $10,000 to enter. And now we're down to the final 21. Every single player guaranteed $60,000, but they're not looking for $60,000. They want that $1.6 million cash prize for winning this event. And now Fedor here going to raise it up with ace-9 offsuit on the button.
Seat 5 fold.
Don't forget, you can go back and watch the full Aussie Millions VODs. They'll be all posted immediately after the streams are over here on my channel. You can find a full listing of all my VODs on riustats.com. Right now, though, here we go. Off to the flop. Ace-9 versus Jack-7. Neither player improves. Ace-high still leads. Looks like Fedor is going to bet here.
Bet 32,000. It's 6 fold. Alright.
And Fedor is going to win that pot.
Still a move, yeah. Thank you.
Nobody else at this featured table really has a stellar live cash record. Live tournament record, rather. Tobias Housen has about $500,000 in cashes. Scott Eskenazi with about $250,000. Zhang with only about $60K. Nicholas Dixon, this is his first cash in a tournament. And then there's Fedor with $20 million in live cashes. No big deal.
That's all right. Thank you. $20 to call.
Action on Zhang here.
Seat 3 fold. Seat 4 fold.
Action folds around here to Eskenazi with just a weak king on the button. Is he going to play this hand? Looks like the answer is yes.
Seat 4 red 45,000.
Oh, hi there. All in a call at the outer table. Housen here has got a pretty good hand. Housen just hoping that Eskenazi has a good hand here.
130 in total. Fold.
And Ace is going to win this pot. Shows the aces.
Still a move.
So that was a hand between
Way ahead. Yeah.
Crevel and Rossiter. Crevel, the short stack there with ace-4, doubled up against 9-8. Got about 20 minutes or so left in this level, and then we're going to take a 15-minute break. I'm not sure if we're going to keep this table or not through the break. We've been doing 1 or 2 levels per featured table. I have not heard yet if we're going to keep this table or not through the break. In any case, we're going to come back, play 1 more level, and then take a dinner break. Playing down to the final 7 tonight.
Seat 6 fold. Sit 1 all in.
Looks like Dixon gonna just rip it in here with pocket eights. 6-2s can't contest. And we're on to the next hand.
Sit 3 foul.
I've been told that we will rotate this feature table, which is only fair. So we've got another 20 minutes or so with this cast. And then we're going to move these players off and get a new feature table here for the level before dinner. Aussie 673 wants to know if
Sorry, excuse me?
Peter
Do you have a
Aristodu
charger,
is still in.
Do you have a charger?
He is, as far as I know.
The iPhone? The lightning one?
What's the charger?
Yeah, Hustle? I think he has one. Thanks.
20 to call.
You could make a living taking iPhone chargers and other phone chargers to poker tournaments, just renting them out for absurd money for rich poker players.
Playing for entry into the Big Freeze event.
Sit 1 foul.
If you're interested in playing, head over to tournament registration now. Already got a massive field so far for this tournament, so if you'd like to play, head over to tournament registration now.
No?
Sit 3 call. Option sit 4. Check. 2 players.
Looks like we got ourselves a limped pot, blind versus blind, Zhang versus Fedor. Both make a pair here on this flop.
Check.
Another all in a call at one of the outer tables.
Sit 4 check. 2 players.
Gonna go check here on this flop.
Check. Sit 3 check.
So it sounds like we just had an elimination at one of the outer tables.
Sit 4 check. 2 players. Check a bit.
So we're down to the final 20 contestants. We lost. I'll get that for you guys in a second. Couldn't quite hear who was eliminated. Oh, it was Jeremy Joseph. We saw him play earlier. Jeremy lost Queen 10 versus Ace 6 all in pre-flop against Aldemir. We saw both those players earlier. And now back to our hand here. Zhang does lead with his pair of kings. Actually, he has the hand locked.
28,000.
Now this hand was checked down to the river. Ooh, a feisty bet size. 78,000 to a pot that only had about 50 in it. So an overbet here from Zhang, trying to get value from a queen or a 7, and that's exactly what Fedor has. Can Fedor figure this out here? Very large bet on the river after just checking the rest of the way.
Sit 4 foul. Thank you.
And then a fold from Fedor. By the way, if it was 28K, I'm way less impressed than 78K. But if Fedor folded for 28K, that's amazing as well. In any case, Zhang wins that pot. And we are down to our final 20, so we are 13 players away from our final table of 7. Still 4 tables in play. We're 2 more players away from our final 3 tables. I don't think there's a redraw, which means a random remixing of the players. That often happens at the final 2 tables, but I'm not 100% sure if they do that in Australia. We'll find that out for you guys.
Foul. Sit 1 foul. C3 fold.
Action over to Fedor in the small blind. Radioheads 19 says, so much
C4
checking, please
fold
explain.
20.
I mean, I
C5
imagine
uncheck.
that the Zhang is just trying to keep the pot small against Fedor. That's probably it.
C5 check.
Another lip and a check here.
2 players.
I've never done.
Shake a bit.
And this time Fedor makes the best hand. Scott trying to backdoor draws here.
Was it a pay jump? Do you know that was a pay jump? 20?
Should not have been a pay jump at 20. Pay jump at 18, I believe.
Boy, ask the woman. He was
Yes, pay jump at 8.
C4
Was that a
bit
pay jump when they went to 20?
35,000.
Right. Cool.
Fedor bets here. Let's here share a little
C5
smile.
fold.
Scott.
I think you had some decent setups in your favor today. Yeah, that's true.
Fedor does win that pot. The final 20 contestants here, 2 spots away from an $80,000 payout. Everybody guaranteed $60,000 right now, so a $20,000 jump coming up ahead. If you're enjoying the stream today, we have 2 more days of Aussie Millions action. Tomorrow, the 100K. It's a 100K buy-in, final
C1
table.
fold.
And then on the following day,
C3 fold.
this tournament will conclude. So just $2.5 million in first place money combined across the next 2 days. No big
C4
deal.
raise 45,000.
Pretty good hand here for Fedor. He's going to raise it up with ace-king offsuit.
C5 fold.
Oh, and this could be a great spot for Fedor. Button versus big blind. Steal position versus the big blind. Could very easily see this getting all in pre-flop, and Fedor would be in great shape.
Still in it. How you doing?
Fedor watching everything. Love to get a shot of Housen right now. He's got to be chopping out a
C6 all
re-raise.
in.
He moves all in, and
Call,
Fedor
all
quickly
in.
calls, and Fedor is all in here. He's going to have this ace-king hold, or he's going to be out of here. If Fedor wins this pot, he's going to have over 1 million chips and be in great position in this tournament. He'll have about average stack for the first time that we've seen today. Fedor in a dominating position here, 78% pre-flop. Housen takes a drink. We're going to go to the flop here. Housen's got to find some queens or make some flushes or something. That is not going to do it. We can also see the queen of clubs is dead. So Housen has two outs. Where's that? Turn a jack or something? That is not going to do it. Housen is dead to one of 2 queens. Queen of spades, queen of diamonds, or Fedor doubles up. Paint on the river, but that's for Fedor. And all of a sudden, Fedor with over 1 million chips. The most successful player in the tournament. Over 1 million chips.
4, 5, 20.
And this is a golden opportunity for him to make another deep run.
520.
If you've never heard of Fedor, 23 years old, $20 million in live cashes. We got a tweet here from JJ Todd 89. Got the rare opportunity as a night shift worker to watch Jay Carver stream Aussie Millions all night. Feels good, man. Good to have you with us, Jeremy. Good to have all you guys with us here for 3 days of Aussie Millions action. If you're enjoying the show, press that follow button. Let us know on social media at Jason Somerville, #Aussie Millions. 20 players remain. Next hand underway here. And now Fedor with his newly minted million chip stack. That cannot be what his opponents wanted to see.
Seat 3 foul. Seat 4 foul.
Awesome V says, I feel so lazy watching this on Twitch. I live 10 minutes away from Crown.
Card foul.
Yeah, but you couldn't see the cards at Crown, bro. You got the best seat in the house right now. Right here on Twitch. What more do you need?
Seat 6 call 20. Seat 1. Seat 1 all in. Seat 6 foul.
And Dixon going to win that pot. Chip leader right now asks Heftalica. I believe Mustafa Kanit is still the chip leader.
Doesn't shake.
Average stack size right now is probably just over 1 million chips.
Not small block. $20 to call. Seat 4 foul. Seat 5 foul.
Scott's going to let it go.
Seat 6 foul. Seat
Blind
1
versus
foul.
blind. Dixon says no thank
One
you. And Zhang's going to win that pot.
Oops, sorry.
Fedor is dangerous now. 21.75 million chips in play. Average stack right now 1.08 million chips. So just over 1 million.
Da kriegt man es wieder gelegt. Wann hast du sowas das
Tommy
letzte Mal
Lal
verloren?
wants to know about the VOD situation. You can always find every single VOD here on RunItUp.tv free for your viewing pleasure. There's a beautiful archive list on riustats.com, or you can just go back to the videos section of my
20
channel
to
here.
call.
Kann ja nicht alle gewinnen.
Seat 5 foul. Seat 6 foul. Seat 1 foul.
Maybe this time.
Looks like Dixon probably folded. I think it's on Zhang right now. I don't know Zhang's hand. Yep, now we do. Jack 10 offsuit.
Seat 3 raise. 55. Seat 4 foul.
All right, Zhang wins that pot with the Jack 10. Next stand getting underway in a sec.
$20 to call. Seat 6 foul. Seat 1 foul.
All right, over to Zhang on the button with Jack 10 off again. He raised last time. I can't imagine he won't raise again this time.
Seat 3 red, 42,000.
So Zhang does raise. What will Fedor do here with a weak ace in the small blind? Fedor thinking about it here. Looks like he's going to put those million chips to work. So you want to try to win the Aussie millions, huh? Fedor going for it here.
135,000. Seat 5 fold.
Fedor does decide to re-raise. Action on Zhang. Don't forget, not only can you watch this year's Aussie Millions on my archives, you can watch last year's Aussie Millions. We had a great guest. Fedor actually was a guest for the $250,000 final table. Hilarious. My first time ever talking to him actually was on stream last year. Right now, though, it's on Zhang. And he's going to say, nice hand, Fedor. And Fedor goes, yep, just another day in the life. Getting towards the end of this level here. We will be moving, or I should say rotating, the feature table out, bringing in a new cast to give everybody in the tournament a fair shake at making this feature table, and having to play under these conditions where you have to show your cards on delay would be unfair if we just had one table here the entire tournament. Kukuo says, I hope they make another stare down montage. That was pretty hilarious last year, for sure. Ace Queen, pretty good hand here for Zhang. Gotta imagine he's gonna raise it up.
Seat 3 red, 42,000. Seat 4 fold.
Over to Scott Eskenazi in the small blind with King 10 suited. Good enough hand to play, for sure.
Seat 5 fold. Seat 6 fold.
And Zhang's gonna win that pot. Next hand getting underway here. Zhang's been very active.
Yeah, thank you. That one, yeah. $20 to call. Seat 3 fold.
Action's gonna be on Fedor. He's gonna raise it up here with the suited ace.
Seat 4 red, 40,000. Seat 5 fold. Seat 6 fold. Seat 1 fold.
And Fedor is gonna win that pot, adding to his tower over there. Can Fedor make another deep run in the tournament? Sounds like there's an all-in a call at one of the outer tables.
Hoeveel is?
Zehner gegen Ass Dame.
Philip Iglesias, if you could please make your way to table 5.
20 to call.
Rebecca, Jack of clubs. Rebecca is the 3 of diamonds.
Set 4 foul.
Then we'll double through parade.
So at the outer table, all in a call. Ace queen against 2 10s. Ben Heath, who we saw earlier today, he beat Corey Aldemir out of that pot. Aldemir had a lot of chips, but is now down to only 360,000.
45,000.
Back at our table here, Eskenazi
Set 6 foul.
raising.
Set 1 foul.
At another one of the outer tables, King 7 off against Jack 5 off. King 7 for our short stack. Hey, got a little tweet from Kevin Rob Martin. You guys may have heard the Kevin Martin around these parts. Great players, great commentary, great content. This is how we make poker great again. The stream is lit. Heck yeah, it's lit.
Hoeveel had Corey nog?
For all my Kmart subs. Yeah.
Ich denke mal so 100, 200, 300.
Meanwhile, Patrick Gravel just busted out. King 7 against Jack 5 came deuce 3 10 4, and then Jack on the river. So Gravel has been eliminated. We are down to the final 19 contestants. 12 away from our final table. Gravel busting out for 60,000 Australian dollars.
Set 6 red 45,000. Set 1 foul.
Pretty good hand here for Housen. Aces again for the second time this level.
Set 3 foul.
Actual belt pack or the,
okay.
So where's the?
Yeah.
Just saves me having to.
Are we?
Set 4
Get him
foul.
on.
What is it?
Get hem maar.
Aces again.
Get hem maar.
Both times getting no action.
Again?
Alright, dealers in the main event, finish the hand you're on, players. You're on a 15-minute break.
All right, we got one more hand here of this level.
Finish the hand you're on, players, 15-minute break.
This hand.
Oh, was that the last hand?
Shuffling, it's another hand.
The rule is if the dealer has started shuffling,
She'd already started the shuffle when I made the announcement.
3 foul.
Lost a man.
the rule is if the players, sorry, if the dealer has already started shuffling, then they got to deal the hand. This will be the last hand of this with this cast at our feature table. We are one elimination away from the final 3 tables.
Just as we did in the break last time, so just
Sorry. 20,000 to call. Set 6 foul. Set 1 foul.
Alright, dealers at the satellite, make sure you let us know as soon as you lose the player. We are seeking alternates.
Zhang on the button, gonna raise it up.
Set 3 4 red 42,000.
Another ace-8, this time for Fedor.
Kwok Chun Yip, if you could please make your way to table 33. Kwok Chun Yip, please make your way to table 33 now.
Looks like Fedor is not planning on folding.
Call. Set 4 call.
And Scott here in the big blind with a very reasonable hand, especially because both of his opponents have the same ace-8. And Scott going to come along as well. We got ourselves a three-way pot before the break here. Off to the flop we go.
Check a bit. Check. Check.
Nobody improves here on this flop. Whoever takes a shot at it is probably going to be the one that wins it. I believe it's gone check to Zhang.
Check. 3 players. Check a bit.
It's gone check here. Still no improvement. 6 is still a 3-1 favorite against the two ace-8s.
Make your way to table 29, please.
Check. For seat 4.
To table 29.
Fedor checks again
Check
here.
seat 5.
Will Zhang take a shot at it after seeing his opponents check twice?
Check seat
Nope.
3. 3 players.
So Fedor and Zhang need an 8, an ace,
Check a bit.
a 9, or a king. That's not going to do it. In fact, that improves Scott to a full house.
Check seat 4.
Fedor checks. I think if you're Scott, it's time to bet now. Doesn't look like there's anything else to do here besides bet. Don't think you can bet very much here, though. It doesn't seem like anybody else really has much.
Bet 85,000. Seat 5 bet 85,000.
That is a bet from Scott. A little more than half the pot. Kind of just go fold.
Seat 3 fold.
This would be too heroic for either of the ace-8s, I think.
Seat 4
And Scott's going to win this pot with a round of applause. Can I get a clappa in the chat right now, guys? Did you think Scott played that hand well? Anyway, so we're going to say goodbye to our feature table for now. They're going to go back out into the field. We're going to get a new feature table for the time being. When we get back, the final 19 contestants here at our $10,000 buy-in Aussie Millions main event championship. We'll be back in just 10 minutes with more action live from Australia.